must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good afternoon, viewers. I want to take a few minutes in the Africa School of Thought. I want to say a few points regarding the situation of the Chief Justice in the Republic of Kenya. The Chief Justice is part of the governance of the people of Kenya. He is one arm of the governance of the Republic of Kenya. The Chief Justice has never convened or tried to convene a meeting between the President, the Speaker of National Assembly, and himself to find out the weakest link in the fight in the governance of the people of Kenya. It is therefore very shameful for the whole Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya to use a platform, external platform, to announce a regime change proceeds using the platforms of international civil society to dismember the government of the Republic of Kenya. As a Pan-African, I feel sorry and saddened by the events that are taking place in the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. The President or the executive has done its best. It has given the funding that is needed to fight corruption. Every time the agencies that fight corruption arrange, indict, and deliver a suspect in the courts of the Republic of Kenya, the same judiciary that the Chief Justice represents, the same judiciary that the Chief Justice says it is very perfect, releases these people at times on flimsy reasons, blocks the route of justice, obstructs justice. The case of the former Deputy Chief Justice, Lady Uhuru, who was found who should have taken a plea, but because of the problems that the judiciary has and the weaknesses, the incompetences that the judiciary has, the Lady Justice Uhuru was allowed to petition the DCI and DPP's application and a charge. She never took a charge, a plea in the normal courts. Of course, the events are much bigger than what we see today. It is sorry state that the Chief Justice is the one who can mention about the failure, yet the word failure is actually associated with the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. Everybody in the judiciary knows, every Kenyan, young or old, knows that there is a problem with the Chief Justice. I take one example. For the Chief Justice to talk about the nullified elections, that dynasties collect themselves in kingdoms, in business entrepreneurs win an election, shows to you that he has something that is against the current administration of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I therefore call upon the international community not to listen to the side that actually weakened the fight against corruption in Kenya, but help the Kenyan people to fight corruption. Because the weakest link, which all of us know, is the judiciary in Kenya. If the Chief Justice was pleasing the civil society funders, the NGOs that gathered in Oxford, let them hear this message, that it is him and him alone. It is his incompetency, the lack of direction, the lack of leadership, the poor leadership qualities, the lack of pointing out the mistakes in law. The law itself that the Chief Justice talks about is the one to recommend which type of law. He can also suggest to the other two arms of government that the laws in Kenya surrounding cases of corruption are weak. But as usual, he has been a weakest link, remains a weakest link. Who is plotting, who is planning, who is trying to execute a foreign instigated plan against the Jubilee government. Thank you very much, viewers. That is a statement as far as the situation of Kenya is concerned. The Chief Justice, therefore, is plotting a coup, a constitutional coup, because he is trying to blackmail the leadership of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much, viewers. God bless you.
Diplomatic ties were established between our countries. That was respectively on the 17th and 18th December. And I believe that our meeting is going to give an additional impetus to strengthening our relationship. Of course, our priority is the development of trade and economic ties, as well as ensuring a stable increase in our trade. In 2018, we saw an increase in the indicators. It was an increase of 1.2%. I refer to our bilateral trade. And we are very glad that some companies have managed to establish a solid position in the Kenyan market, and I do hope that we'll talk about that in detail today. Thank you.
Russia-Africa Economic Forum and Summit, I believe, will present not just Russia and Kenya, but Russia and Africa, with significant opportunities to really reshape and expand our relations, both at the bilateral level, as I said, the multilateral level, but also to rekindle, in your own words, the historic relations between Russia and Africa. Indeed, again, as you have stated, Africa's aspirations for freedom and liberty was greatly enriched by the relationship with Russia. Our founding fathers, including my own father, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, drew great vision from the Soviet Union, and for that, we remain grateful. Your Excellency, to preserve this history and heritage, indeed, one of the requests I'm going to put to you is we would like you to facilitate a coalition and retrieval of some of the information and material that may be here in Russia relating to the activities and the histories of Kenya's freedom fighters, including that of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. This is something that we would truly appreciate, and at some stage would like to send some of our officials to work with your own historians and archivists to see what we can do to put that history together and preserve it for posterity. Mr. President, I also believe that this forum you have organized offers, again, Russia and Africa the opportunity to focus on ways and means of expanding our political, economic, technical, cultural, and educational interests in a manner that serves both our countries and promotes Russia's partnership with the African Union.
Thank you very much. Welcome back to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Viewers, wherever you are in Africa, this is our Pan African station, a station that looks at African issues, what ails Africa, what kills Africa. How can we resolve our own problems without inviting any other person to come to this continent to bring us more headache? Do we have a lot of headache? Do we have progress? This time is Kenya. In Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta has brought what we call a transformational agenda, an agenda that is going to take shape, that can bring Kenya by 2022 to world-class economy, to world-class health people, a universal health care, to world-class food security, to world-class affordable housing, and to increasing jobs through manufacturing and construction of houses. President Uhuru Kenyatta has stated that this is the most important aspect of his legacy, that he would like to leave a legacy in Kenya by having these items tackled. You in the county, wherever you are in this country, those representatives of ours, of the ones that are in those counties, one by one, wherever you were, in Kakamega, in Bungoma, in Turkana, in Moyale, in Mosabit, in Mandera, in Coast, most of you know what we want to be done. We want to find out exactly, and the other places, Taveta, Migori, Siaya, Kisumu, Eldoret, which is North UG, which is also Narok. We want to know what is supposed to be done. What can be done to change the lives of the people of those counties and other counties in Kenya? What can we do to change, to help the governors, the local people, the citizens? What can we do to improve our housing? What can we do to improve our food security, to have enough food such that the food can never be a problem to Africa at all? Year in, year out, or year out, year in, we are begging for donors to bring us relief food. Yet we have arable land that is underutilized. Why can't we look at the arable land and start changing methods of farming, methods, tools? How much do we need to change our food production? Britain is a quarter of this country, but Britain has enough food to keep itself for over 200 to 400 years. Our food storage, do we need to look at it? Our food preservation, do we need to look at it? To improve food security, you need to talk about all these things. And that's why President Uhuru Kenyatta has said, let's talk about them. Let's tackle them now, so that by 2022, we leave a legacy for others who will take politically the train and the leadership of this country, going on that route. Instead, what has happened in Kenya, people are not thinking of the Agenda 4. Is it because the Big 4 action plan, people don't know what they are supposed to do? Is it because the research is not enough? What is the value that you can get out of a good house? What is the value that you can get if the industry is near your home? How many of us think of creating some small cottage industries, fishing, ponds, creating a simple pond and getting fish that will grow in the pond? How many of us can think of good health care? How can we change our health care system in Kenya? How can it be changed? Can it be changed by merely all the time saying, this is what we want? Or can it be done in a different way? To think, to bring in such that every 50 to 100,000 people have got a doctor and a GP who can have a referral system to refer them to diseases that cannot be treated in those small clinics or small GPs, which are many hospitals. The onus is upon us, upon the people of Kenya, wherever they are, with the help of any other people. Our role as a television station and the media is to publicize these initiatives of the president. We publicize the media, tell it as it is, writing in digital platform, writing on our Facebook. Our numbers, several representatives all over the whole counties are busy as we talk, writing and talking about the Big Four. They are busy engaging in the Big Four activities to make sure that advocacy, campaign, publicity, to make sure that people are aware. We talk about food security. You can't have food security when you are cutting down all the trees. There will be no water. You can't have food security when you don't know whether there's water or this water is alkaline. When you see rhinos being transferred from place where water was not alkaline and taken to alkaline infested waters and they die, there is something wrong with the systems. So we need to come and talk about these things. We need to engage the citizens for them to choose what is available and what they want in their counties. Punchline Africa TV, therefore, engages the people every morning until the next coming several months. We shall be engaging people. We shall be talking about this Big Four. I now invite you to a clip that talks about the Big Four of the Jubilee administration. What can we do, and what can we do as citizens of Africa to help ourselves so that we don't get into a quagmire state that other countries find when they call for food, when they call for housing, when you see in South Africa, in Kenya, the slums mushrooming, Gorogocho, in Madare, in all these places. What can we do to elevate the lives of the people in those slum-affected areas? I invite you to the clip prepared by Punchline Africa TV as a matter of publicity for this Big Four.
You know, when one is asked to talk about leadership in Africa, one's mind wanders in many directions, because in the recent past, the continent of Africa has been the subject of scrutiny from many quarters. There are those who are Afro-pessimists and take the view that Africa will never realize our potential. There are those Afro-optimists who take the view that the jury is still out on the success or otherwise of the continent of Africa. I am an Afro-optimist. I take the view that this continent has had a glorious past, and that this continent has had her trials and tribulations, but her better days are in the future. There are those who, when talking about Africa, are in the habit of dealing with Africa as if it were one monolithic block. They do not recognize that the beauty of Africa is in her diversity. And indeed, when you care to undertake a geographical survey of Africa, you will be amazed at what the west of Africa offers, what the center of Africa offers, what the south of Africa offers, what the Horn of Africa offers, and what the north of Africa offers. That is the continent that we are talking about today. And we are talking about her because she continues in many ways to punch below her weight. And many are the commentators who take the view that the reason why she continues to punch below her weight is because the men and women who have had the privilege and honor to serve her in different political capacities or leadership capacities have not served her well. There may be merit in that assessment, but those who are quick to judge, those whose only claim to fame is that they are professional fault finders, must ask many questions before they judge and condemn Africa unfairly. This continent, and I remember, and if we are to judge this continent fairly, we must go back to the past and look to the past and ask about this continent. And there are many who have written about this continent. How many of you here will forget the great writings of Senegal's Ante-Cheikh Diop, who has documented in many ways the glorious past of the continent of Africa, the great kingdoms in Africa. When Europe was still in the caves, Africans were building monuments. If they were not building them in the Ashanti Empire, they were building them in Monomotapa here in Zimbabwe. And there is a sense in which all those have been consigned to the Museum of History. And those who look at Africa see Africa as a scar on the conscience of humanity, not remembering that they were themselves co-authors of Africa's misfortunes. We are the only continent and the only people in the world who have been commodified. How many of you will remember that agrarian Europe had to commodify Africa in order to realize our level of development? At one time in those early days, we will remember, even as we talk about leadership, that half of the population of this continent was taken away. If they were not taken away from Ghana, which they then christened Gold Coast, they were taken away from Angola. If they were not taken away from Angola, they were taken away from Mozambique. If they were not taken from Mozambique, they were taken from Senegal. If the Arabs were not taking us, the Europeans were taking us. If the Europeans in their different tribes tribes were not conquering us, they were stealing from us. Those are the realities that we don't talk about when we talk about this continent. And you know, if one cares to judge the African continent, one must be historically conscious. The oldest African country after we regained our independence from greater chief. And the question that we must ask ourselves, why is it that this continent finds ourselves in that space? If it is not Europe summoning us, it is the United States of America summoning us. Everybody is in the business of summoning us. One may ask, what has this to do with leadership? You know, I listened to the Chinese president speaking in eloquent Mandarin, saying how the relationship between Africa and China is a mutually beneficial relationship. He spoke about Africa as if it was one country. He did not remind himself, in my mind, that there are 55 countries in Africa, or 54 if you ask Morocco. And I listened to the Chinese president specifically mentioning the Gambia and a few other, and Sao Tome and Principe, that they were welcomed back to the world because they had renounced their relationship with Taiwan and they had now recognized the one China policy. Do I say this because there is anything wrong with China? No. I'm saying this because the Chinese are providing leadership for their people. They know exactly what they want for their people, and they are doing exactly what they want for their people for the benefit of their people. The question that I'm posing to us, do we know what we want for our people? Are we doing what we need for our people? And the answer is, I doubt. Why do I doubt? I doubt because at the end of the entire enterprise, the Chinese president said that he had given, or his government had given, 60 billion United States dollars to 54 African countries. Notionally, therefore, each country would be entitled to no more than 1.5 billion. Half of the presidents who are present in China, each one of them, half of them, can produce 1.5 billion. Sportsmen in Europe and America, including boxers, can earn $1 billion in a single bout. And we are here celebrating and singing the praises of China because they gave us 60 billion. Once again, it is a statement of their ability to recognize what leadership is all about. I'm submitting to us that when we interact with people like the Chinese, there is something to learn from them. We may condemn them at forums such as this, but there is wisdom in asking ourselves, how is it that this country, which about 30 years ago could not feed half our population, has in 30 years during our lifetime succeeded in pulling up nearly 800 million people out of poverty? How is it that every road that is now being built in Africa, whether the road is in Benin or in Nairobi, Kenya, or in Johannesburg, South Africa, or in Kigali, in Rwanda, or the Democratic Republic of Congo, there is a Chinese firm whose name I cannot pronounce as the contractor for that firm? How is it? How is it that China, which about 30 years ago did not produce a mobile phone, today out of every 10 mobile phone, we are using 6 which are from China. If it is not Techno, it is some other phone. If we are not inviting Jack Ma, we are inviting another Chinese, because we have seen that they have the ability to organize their affairs. Some of us, particularly those of us who are in the middle class, our pride is that our child is learning Mandarin as a second language, not isiZulu, Mandarin. I fear, Bishop, that in the next few years, when they bring their children for baptism, and you ask them, how do you name this child? They'll say, Deng Xiaoping Simfiwe. I'm still talking about leadership. We have seen what leadership can do. Leadership has catapulted China to another completely different orbit. We have seen that leadership has catapulted South Korea to a different orbit. We have seen that leadership has catapulted Vietnam, which was bombed to the ground in 1975. Vietnam now produces more coffee than all African countries combined.
Good afternoon, viewers. Although the program is Good Morning Africa, elsewhere in Africa it is Good Morning, and elsewhere international community is Good Morning. Some places is Good Evening. Some places is very early in the morning in America. I believe so. In the middle of all stars, working right from Nairobi. Viewers, this is Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. With me in the studio today is none other than my usual partner, Miriam Ogutu.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, madam?
I'm very fine.
We are going to push, and we want to inform our viewers that we shall combine at times with radio, Punchline Africa, and then we shall be broadcasting throughout the holidays on specific hours, 11 almost for Good Morning Africa, except on Christmas Day itself, where we'll broadcast from the radio station. Combine the radio station. So if you miss us, you are not going to miss us. You go to the radio station, because we shall be playing music for you, and combined with the television station. So don't sit bored after you have eaten your kuku, turkey. Lots of chicken were sold in Kenya yesterday, plenty of it. From the deputy president, Mjamaa wa kuku, ule wa kuku, sindio? Everybody is saying, but when you, I don't know, Miriam, when a man has printed the t-shirts with a cup, Mjamaa wa kuku, but when you post it on Facebook, they come and they say, why are you posting it? Even when you don't post, they say, why are you not posting? So I don't know what we can do. You better advise us, those people across there, what we can do. But lots of chicken were sold last night in Kenya. Plenty of them for buying for your Christmas tomorrow I'm told, oh, today I'm told they're buying goats for Christmas.
Where is that happening? We need
Baringo.
We need to get that is
Yes.
too far.
But before we go on air to analyze what President Uhuru has done and what he intends to do in 2020, we shall first say breaking news coming from Kenya indicated that the Court of Appeal has upheld Justice Mumbi. Dongo?
Yes, Mumbi.
Mumbi's decision of barring governors from going to the office as soon as you are charged in the court of law. So there is a success for the people of Kenya. There is a success for those who have been, wanting to see these governors not step back in the offices. Thank you very much, Court of Appeal. Waititu and others will not step in office. Those who break the rule, like the governor of Samburu, he should be brought back to jail because there is no other condition that they can give you now. Sonko is also not going back to the office. Now, the senators, the two masqueraders, senators, all 3 or 4, including Orengo, who have been masquerading, going around to represent governors, must be told that Kenyans look at you for a purpose. And I think if senators play the role that they are playing, the way they do their things, I would encourage Kenyans to scrap them off. Now the BBI has been extended. Why don't we do a triple gymnastics and scrap the Senate? It serves no purpose. You have given a younger man leadership, Murkomen. He's not supposed to be even a master of a cattle deep in Erengoye Marakwet. Because he behaves so badly. He opposes Kenyatta, he insults Kenyatta, he writes, have you seen what he writes on Facebook? A leader does not write that. And you are the one safeguarding devolution. So I think the Kenyans, you should read and recommend.
I think on the issue,
so that you can have few representation, few representatives, the MCA, the MP, and that's it. And the MCA's powers can check the governor. Once the MCA's say, now, my friend, you vote, our people have told you, you go away. You go. So Senate is just consuming money. And you have given someone also to be wearing a suit to go near the president every time that he has also been called to State House. And amtukana every day. Tutaki kutukana rais yetu, rafiki yetu. Nyenye kama mnafikiri nyenye mnajua matusi sana, na sisi tuko na matusi tena. Tena matusi tuko naye. Tuko na matusi na nyenye msikutukane sana Uhuru Kenyatta. Ako na warafiki sasa sisi. Sasawa sisi. Tunaweza anza matusi yake. Tena what can I say? We can insult each other. Na sisi tuko na package. Wana mobilito. You saw that. But that is for you Kenyans.
But I think on the matter that you mentioned about senators being involved, they're the ones who are defending some of these governors. I think this will be, it is a conflict of interest, because now this matter after the MCAs of Nakuru, yesterday we saw Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Wetito being impeached by the MCAs in that county. So this impeachment, just like Trump's impeachment after the House of Representatives, it is going through to Senate. So the Senate has to debate over and look at the issues and the matters that have been, he has been impeached upon, 2 matters, abuse of office office and another one also. So when now the same senators will be there to adjudicate and look into these matters, I don't know what position. It's already, maybe they should recuse themselves, because now they are part of the people who will be, deciding on the fate of the governor, Waititu, among other governors who have been abused. So I think on this one, I think there is absolute conflict of interest, and perhaps we should recheck some of these laws.
Yes. Thank you very much, Miriam. I think even if it goes, the court has pronounced itself. It has pronounced itself. There is no need. You can't go back to the office. Even if the senator clears you, you can't go back to the office. You still have a case in court. Clear the case first. So that is, so far, there's a good ending towards Christmas. We meet after Christmas, but we scored it. Yes, Nuruddin Haji, DCI, thank you very much. There we are, we have a credit there. Thank you, the judges. If you can do 7 of these type of things, that is safeguard Wanjiku, Atieno, Nafula, Owino. The ordinary people in Kenya need the court to safeguard them, to shield them from excessive powers and excessive injustice and also excessive corruption. Courts slam these guys with enough sentence. This type of ruling is good, very good. You cannot again go to the same office, intimidate the same guys who actually stood by against you and continue to sign vouchers for people to draw money. Most of these governors have been drawing money, the money that we see people slaughtering cows everywhere. We haven't slaughtered, we haven't eaten, we are also looking for chicken, bring chicken. Jamaa wa kuku, tunataka kuku. So it is a norm now, everybody is it. The guy is giving their t-shirts. I've got a kofia inside here, jamaa wa kuku.
You have a kofia?
Yes.
Okay. But you are not there.
You have forgotten I'm Jubilee.
But you were not there yesterday.
No.
At the
I am. Hey, if they found me
the
by
chicken
spirit,
auction.
they could have roasted me like a chicken.
But also, Doctor,
the people who were there yesterday before you, people, you know what they call rent-seeking politics and hostage-taking politics, and then martyrdom politics. Those are subjects of political science. Let me teach what you are cuckoo. You know, politics of political science is rent-seeking crowds. Mr. Gunjiri Kimani got the rent yesterday. He carried people, took them towards Eldoret to talk nothing but about Kenyatta. About President Kenyatta, belittle him. Oh, Kenyatta anafanya hii. You are reporting to who? You are reporting to a deputy of Kenyatta. So what are you reporting? What are you reporting, Ngunjiri Bahati MP? That what? You are reporting a president to who? Who is the headmaster here? Who has a sword? You are reporting rent-seeking politics. Hostage-taking politics is the people like Ngunjiri Kimani are hostages. The hostage taker tells you, if you don't vote me, I will displace you. I will harass you. I will send you away. I will not pay you this. Hostage taking. Martyrdom. The politics of martyrdom is stupidity. Dying for what you don't know. People there is no vacancy of anywhere. Nobody has rejected anyone from succeeding Uhuru Kenyatta. Succession is open. Jubilee Party has its deputy. So, martyrdom is stupidity. It's political science of stupidness. You are a very stupid man. You want to try to show that to a battle of to paint a picture that there is something wrong, yet it is not there. To paint a picture that Uhuru Kenyatta has stopped you from going to succeed, to go to succession, martyrdom. So the MPs who were drawn from here traveled all these miles to pay homage. It's like us going to Namugongo Shrine. Namugongo Shrine.
What happens there?
Where the martyrs died for Jesus, they did not know. Yes, Kabaka Mwanga slaughtered them. They said, hallelujah, 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 slaughter. Hallelujah, hallelujah. You're not dying for what you don't know, martyrdom, sacrificing for foolishness. At least Jesus died because he knew why he was dying. Jesus died because he was going to save people. He died to save us. But these guys who go all the way to talk about one individual whom they can talk to from Nairobi are foolish, playing foolish politics of martyrdom. If you have studied political science, get it. If not, enter the school and study again. There's no limit to degrees. You can have a PhD and go back and read again another subject, like I did. I told you on 17th of February, I will be graduating from the University of South Northampton. Yes, Northampton University in Putney, near Wandsworth, in the United Kingdom, with a master's degree in project management. Whoa! Project management. I can construct a political paper. I can construct, write, and Uganda can receive money. Can Bob Wine write a political paper? There are people challenging me that, oh, go and help Bob Wine. Bob Wine can't write even a political paper. He knows how to compose music, but not a political paper. But I can construct a political paper. Yes. So those who are in London, we shall have a cheers. Plenty of it. Thereafter, I will address in the Chatham House. The dates are also well fixed. You will be told by Chatham House, I will talk. As American policy, foreign policy failed in Africa.
So that is supposed to happen in March.
In March, okay. But February thereafter, okay. March, I will be, which will coincide with the Commonwealth Conference for Africa. Has American foreign policy failed in Africa? In Africa? Yes.
I think it has.
By then, we would have known Mr. Trump is available or not available.
He's facing his own troubles right now.
Yes.
The same way Kiambu Governor now, Ferdinand Waititu, also were impeached. I think the same day that Trump also was impeached. But also, Njoki Ndungu, because I saw yesterday Nairobi Governor going to court and trying to get 3 judges off from hearing the case that has been that he's accused on, what he's in court for. And I think the reasons he was trying to give, I was really trying to understand what, if at all, his argument even holds water, because at the end of the day, I think what Mumbi did a while ago, he said it's even a moral it's a moral thing.
It's conscience.
Yes,
moral
as a
conscience.
being,
your conscience.
You're being accused of. If you feel you have nothing to worry about, I think it's honorable to just step aside, allow the law to take its place. If you find to be okay, then you'll come back. I think it's just a moral thing that I think a lot of our leaders lack in this country.
They do. Not only this country, all over Uganda. Have you seen Makerere University?
all over Africa.
Have you seen Makerere University? But His Excellency Dr. William Ruto to open an institute in our Makerere, every Lumumba Hall. I call upon anybody, those who went to Lumumba Hall, rise up.
When did he do this?
Oh my God, he's going to put an institute. But already the boys in the campus are running amok. If Ruto didn't know there is chaos, he will be embarrassed tomorrow.
Oh, that is supposed to be happening.
Yes, that a letter. I don't know whether I'm trying to reach Comrade Anangwe, who is the Vice Chancellor. I want to ask him, I've sent Mwendwa to ask Anangwe whether this is true. Because lots of the university students who are MDC and MDC, and then this group of Bob Wine, things might be very embarrassing. So those of protocol of His Excellency, the President, the Deputy, I am just giving you the underhand intelligence. Things are not rosy.
So Institute of what is he going to launch there?
Institute. You haven't seen there is a letter that has, maybe it's, I don't know whether it's fake. The Deputy President hasn't given us the office.
Has he posted that in his official?
No, we haven't. Someone has manufactured it, maybe from Kampala, to raise stakes. Anangwe, professor, has got big problems also. Maybe, he has been giving too many people PhDs, even he gave Salim Saleh PhD. All this, there's a problem here. But thank you very much. It is, Miriam, the essence of our life. Let's go straight to, so that we go and we do what you are supposed to be doing. Trump is on the hooks, and let's wait until the verdict comes out. He has a Senate which is able to
save him,
to overturn.
Yes, possible.
Let's come back to Kenya.
But Democrats need only 4 votes from the Republican
which is
Senate.
most likely to get. They will get.
Romney is not really committal into supporting Trump, so let's see how that will work out. Romney, the one who ran for the presidential last time with Trump, and Trump was very kind to him.
There are many Republicans in the Senate who are not very happy with the foreign policy. There are some who are supported by McCain. The McCain said Trump should never come to his burial. And Trump never went there for the burial of McCain.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, in fact,
that was embarrassing.
Not even embarrassing.
Because all the presidents, even the past presidents, were present.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yeah, but no. But there are people that you can tell that when.
No, he did not deserve to go there.
Yeah, no, there are people you can tell don't ever come. And you between me and you can choose whom I can tell. You know it now.
Yeah, I'll be looking at that will and see what else is what else is in there. But Doctor, even as we look at today's topic and seeing how President Kenyatta, yesterday I think I talked about it here, what he has done this year, moving on to 2020. I see one of the things here, of course, the most highlight of his this year that he, the BBI report that he launched this year, and we see here on the Star newspaper, Uhuru names 30 experts to join Haji-led Building Bridges task force. This moving into, I think they will start perhaps next year, because right now
I had not seen that.
Yes, it's here on page 2. So he's named 30 experts.
Yes.
To help the Haji-led team to help in. They've joined now the BBI team and are trying to go back and find some views from Kenyans and see what else from what was indicated or was contained in the BBI report that was launched last year. What else are Kenyans saying? What are some of the things they want changed and before the report is fully now refined?
So who are these experts? Do we have the names? Yeah, they are here. The committee of officers is led by lawyer Tom Macharia, Catherine Momo, Professor Ben Shihaya. Some of the members are ODM ex-executive director Duo Onwen, Professor Aden Gumbe, Award Achoka, Kenneth Rotich, Patrick Kiloku, and Sis Mutua. But none of these 14 members, none of these.
I think is that not the initial, team, the BBI team, the initial one, or what? Because the 30 ones. But anyway, the story is on page 2 of the Star newspaper. So, yes. So
no, they imagined yesterday that the 2 leaders appointed experts when they extended the term of 14 members. Yes, they did. They named 30 experts, but not all the names are here.
So it appears that the president has pulled another rug from some people's feet, because there's some political quarters in this country, and I think we read it from the Star itself that said that there are some people who already had their names of the people they wanted to be part of the experts that will spearhead this BBI process towards the end of it. So do you think the president consulted? As it appears there, he only consulted with his big brother Raila. So I don't know.
No,
the reaction.
it is a very good. No, the president at times, I think he listens to this television station. That's what we said. You remember what I said? I said, Mr. President, don't waste time. Move faster. By the end of January, we have this thing ready. This thing will decide where we belong. That's it. Here or there. Are you here or here? Right? Let's not even fight for nothing. Put the question to the Kenyans. And if the president has proposed, is the one going to receive then send it to parliament. Are you here or not there? Because you can't be with him, pretend to be with the president when you don't like what he has proposed. So it cuts the whole, it makes us more relaxed.
It makes it easier.
Yeah, so that when we meet you as
ex-partner. But here's the thing, what I've learned is, for the people who are really were against this BBI report, now there seems to be the ones who are very invested in
this one has pulled a rug on them.
He must have done
that.
The
president has done a good job here.
So we'll see.
So president's advisors are 100% kudos. Yes.
Touchline TV must be one of the advisors. It only watches.
Hey, by the way,
to you.
I don't know why I forgot to Dennis Bwire, your Mitchells are Livingstone. We Lumumba, we don't want this in our university. Thank you very much. Keep going. Lumumba, anybody who was in the Lumumba Hall, stand up. Don't want this nonsense in our university. Makerere University is known for seriousness. Not to unachukua uko pesa ya nini? Sutaki. Wacha tukufe. Student, you see Bob Wine on this one. Do you know why we like Bob Wine? He does it.
We do?
Zoom the whole Makerere. Yes, let there be tear gas. Wacha Jerumani.
Do you think it's going to be because I remember there's when president...
Things are hot. You know, people don't ask for PR. You don't just enter agreements and say you are going to put a stone.
Of what?
Into Makerere Institute of something. Hey, leadership.
Well, he's a regional leader, I guess. He's a...
No problem.
Yes.
We are looking for Nawangwe. I can't make a comment whether this is a real University of Makerere data because it looks shambled. and someone got a letterhead. You know that department, that office has got so many letterheads. So I don't want to make a comment, but what I inquired from Kampala is that the ground is very hostile. So I don't know what will happen.
But the event will take place tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
21st.
That is tomorrow.
It could be cancelled because I've not seen it on any lineup on the Uganda, even State House document. No, we get everything also. Yes, from there. Thank you very much, viewers. We want to turn on President Kenyatta achievements 2019 and how he can capitalize on them in 2020. Miriam, let's just read them. And I read one, you read number two.
So even as we read that, maybe we could just anchor it in something that is very close to the president's heart. That is the Big Four agenda.
Yes.
And this year, of course, we've seen, he said the universal healthcare has the pilot went on very well. And there's some of the things that he will borrow or the government will borrow to see that is able to be shared across.
In 4 counties. Thank you very much. The president introduced the Big Four agenda, and those the Big Four agenda seem to be working. And as a result of that, we are going to make sure that we laud him, we support him, we give him all the moral support, material support next year to make sure that he leaves a legacy. And as a legacy trained man, we shall make sure that we keep the tabs. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for the universal health care. Pilot was done in 4 counties. It's working. It's working. Of course, there are obstacles. There are obstacles. It's a new system. It has just come, and therefore it is bound to create a lot of, confusion here. But all, it looks like if they use that. But what the president should do next year is to send a team to the National Health Service of Britain, just to sample how the document, the main cause of how the National Health Service of Britain works. It will be okay. Yes.
All right, there you go. And also something that we've seen really, one of the Big Four agendas, that is manufacturing.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of things being done this year, and the launch of the SGR Phase 2, and I think, was it on Monday, President was in Naivasha,
yes,
where I think now it's ready for work, and
yes,
the dry port.
The dry port is ready. I hope Uganda will run to build this depot, and so we start. I am very happy, very, very happy to make sure that this rail reaches Malaba, because some of us had invested in buying a plot in Malaba to build up a hotel. I told you I had bought a plot across, thinking the earlier the SGR arrives in Malaba, the better for us. A hotel, a 200-room hotel in Malaba capacity in Uganda. It's a plot which I paid slowly. So I'm interested in this one reaching the other time, and we work on that. So this is very good for me as a Ugandan. I'm very impressed about the SGR.
And also when the president was launching this on Monday, what he said that I think perhaps Kenyans were wondering, why is it that we're having a dry port in Naivasha while we have another one in Mombasa, and now it's being affected back and forth, and we saw the people with the trailers, we've been seeing them striking and protesting. But the president said this port is meant to serve the cargo that is leaving the country, so that people from the DRC, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi don't have to come all the way to Mombasa, so it will lessen the hours that they have to spend going to and fro. So how would you make of this for those people who are wondering, so why do we need a dry port in Naivasha? And as we saw in the headlines when the president launched this, the railway to nowhere, but now there seems to have, it's taking shape and there's a purpose for it. So how would you respond to the people who have been skeptical of even having a dry port in the middle of the country?
First of all, I think it is very important for people to know that across there, Ugandans need to carry the nearer to them, the better. The nearer to Rwanda, the better. You cut the costs. They come here, you pick your trailer, and take the goods across to your country. So they have now allowed if you choose to use the rail, you can. If you choose to use the trucks, you can. There's no problem at all.
All right.
So if this one goes closer from Naivasha to Kisumu by water is cheaper, and many goods on the ship will cross over to Uganda in Jinja and other ports that have been constructed. Yeah.
All right, and also this year we saw the upgrade of the Kisumu port, and I think what the national government can do is upgrading, but how now this port runs, this is upon the residents there, the leadership in Kisumu. So if I see the airport, which is very lovely, and I use it every now and then at the Kisumu International Airport, but sometimes when you land there, you wonder what else can these people do with this massive investment here. So I think it's also a challenge to the leadership of Kisumu and its environs to really take advantage of some of these infrastructures that some of the parts of the country could only wish. I wish we had such a thing, but appears to be that the leadership of that area, my people really, they're not doing enough to make sure they're taking advantage of the resources that they have there.
I think as soon as even the Kisumu airport itself is supposed to be picking international flights.
Should.
I don't know why. I should ask you.
I wonder the same way. I'm like, this is wonderful.
You're from that side.
This is a great,
and then the people.
Yes. We can't just use it to fly and come to Nairobi and go back. Like, come on, we can do better and do more with that.
Yes, because I've seen there's no but ambition here in when they like here people fight for lots of things at airport. You not see that. The people in this region fight very hard to do something at the airport. 2 cars, 5 cars, 10 cars you find women very early in the morning, 4 a.m. They are waiting for passengers. Do you have such women in Kisumu?
In Kisumu? For what, the taxis?
No, it is an activity.
Or just
we are looking for
goods
what
being
can
taken.
we do.
Yes, more than just picking and dropping of passengers.
Yes, what can we do around there, Kisumu?
Yes.
Are we building hotels? Are we building more, more commercial centers? Are we building the hubs? Are we transferring the technology which is here, or it is a matter of saying we want the airport prestige? Somebody will say, I will not be here around this weekend.
But well, it's easy. I can fly into Kisumu the first flight in the morning, 6, and come back in the evening with the 7:30 flight. It's easier, but come on now, that huge infrastructure and investment, it cannot be just for visiting the village and coming back. Like, that is no. So I'm challenging the leadership, because the national government has given the area that. So now what they choose to do in it in terms of developing the area and for the people to benefit, now that is for the local government. There were, cases of some industries have been, I don't know what Nyang'nyong has done so far. I don't think they even realized the strategic position of Kisumu as a place in regards to even Tanzania, Uganda, and how much really activity that can, I don't even think they realize. So I think the leadership in that area, people need to really recheck.
Well, it's good you are talking yourself from that place, because if some of us made comments,
yes,
it would spark quite a lot of chaos. And
by now we should be having a cold room there for the fish industry. We should, I don't know if there is, but we should be having, we should be exporting our fish, the good ones, from there straight to JKI and straight to whatever, it's exported outside the country, or just, but nothing much in terms of development. And I think that area, what has been the biggest problem is just politicking just throughout. But I'm happy that that has calmed down. So maybe we'll start seeing some developments coming from the Nyanza region.
Thank you very much, Miriam. I think you can, I just want to give you a chance. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank our listeners, so that I leave you to conclude with the Africa news.
Okay.
If you can give me a few minutes.
Okay.
It looks I am under very serious stress. You have seen the type of...
I've seen you being called for meetings.
Meetings, and one of the meetings that can spoil Christmas. You have seen the phone coming from. Wow.
All right.
And so I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our viewers worldwide for having been there with us, for having stood by us, and we shall stand by you. We shall continue broadcasting on Sunday. We shall have Sunday showdown, and on Monday the normal service. On Tuesday the normal service. I will be here working, and over the holidays until Miriam returns, I will take charge of the microphones. If Miriam is around, available, she will join me, but she will take off some days with her family. I have eaten a lot of Christmas days, so yes, so I can sacrifice, not because not all of us can leave the station. The type of business we're in, you can't leave this place for a week. Then come and start, people will say, what happened? So I will be around, available to discuss various topics and report various events in Kenya and the world. So I thank you very much, and I thank all of you. Miriam will continue with the program to assess what Mr. President needs to do in 2022. So many things: universal health care, manufacturing, food security. The president needs, before I go, needs to remove the Minister of Agriculture. Mr. President, take that ministry away from a man called Ngunjiri. Is it Kiunjuri? He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what can happen. So please get able people to be in that ministry. Get a good person to be in that ministry, including the PS. Change all of them so that you can have a very good PS who can help the minister who might not be able to read English. So please get experts who know about food security. But the minister in this docket of agriculture is a minister who is picking kickbacks. That's all I wanted to say. If you can, I hand it over to Miriam. There are so many things the president did: Pidgeot manufacturing, SGR. There are so many things. Danish brewery is in Kisumu again, isn't it?
In Naivasha.
Naivasha, and there is a brewery also in Kisumu.
Yes, that is being revived.
Which is being revived.
No, they're building actually.
Yeah, they are building it. So Huduma Center, fight against corruption, he has succeeded. Miriam, tell the people about that. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless everybody. Miriam continues with the program, and Paul Kingi and the rest of my viewers from Zimbabwe, from everywhere, from the world, from Europe, from America. God bless you. See you over on Sunday. For me. But Miriam continues. Mo Mohammed or somebody, Abdulaziz Aziz from Mogadishu. Thank you very much for watching. You have given us a headache, but we are still alive. Thank you.
All right, we'll be back.
There are a number of countries in Africa that produce oil. Kenya today became one of the member states of oil-producing countries in Africa. It exported its first oil, where President Uhuru Kenyatta flagged off the oil that was got from Turkana in one of the northeastern parts of this country. But is oil a curse to Africa? Is oil a curse to the entire places where oil is found? We see in the Middle East, the wars in Iran, in Saudi Arabia, in Yemen, in United Arab Emirates. It has developed the area in Qatar, We all have many cities, skyscrapers coming up because of the proceeds from the oil. But can Africa emulate that example and bring the same oil proceeds to make sure that it makes lives better for the people, the betterment of the people of Africa and their families and their other activities? I want to see that. But I might not be able to explain why Africa always falls a victim. Are there external forces that make the oil in Africa to become sour? Is it the competition of the oil companies, Total and Shell BP and others that come to Africa to take the share of the oil? Simply because we have no energy, ability to be able to drill the oil ourselves, refine it ourselves. It is shocking, therefore, to go to Nigeria, for example, a country that produces third in the world for oil production, has no petrol at the petrol station. Is this not a curse? If it's not a curse, what do you call it? Thank you.
Welcome back and thank you so much. It is a Good Morning Africa show, although today we have extended to the afternoon, but thank you so much for being with us. So the first part, we were looking at our topic of the day, but right now I just want us to go through quickly what is making news across Africa, and then we shall end the show. So we'll start with Nigeria, where Mohammed Bello Adoke, Nigeria's former Justice Minister and Attorney General, has returned to home from Dubai to face corruption charges relating to the sale sale of Nigeria's offshore oil field worth about $1.3 billion US dollars. Nigeria's anti-corruption body, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, says the return of Mr. Adoke on Thursday afternoon followed a series of discussions between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates. And then still in Nigeria, and a Nigerian court has declared that sex work is not a crime since there is no law that forbids it. Justice Binta Nyako of the High Court in the capital Abuja on Thursday awarded damages to 16 women who were arrested for prostitution in 2017, and it is the first time a Nigerian court has ruled on the legality of sex work. And on the latest on the Sahel troubled region, and now France has deployed its first armed drones to fight jihadists in Africa's Sahel region. Defense Minister Florence Parly said that the US-built Reapers would mainly conduct intelligence operations but also carry out strikes. Each drone carries 2 large laser-guided bombs. Previously, French drones were only used for surveillance purposes in the Sahel. More than 4,000 French troops are based in the region, fighting a 7-year Islamist insurgency. Last month, 13 French soldiers died when the helicopter collided in Mali. And we move to Mozambique, where the president, Felipe Nyusi, has said the country will use all means to contain the armed violence in the gas-rich northern province of Cabo Delgado. Talking at a reception in the capital Maputo for Mozambicans who had come from the diaspora, the president described the violence as an attack to the Mozambican state. And we move to Ethiopia, where in what can be seen as yet another test for Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, thousands of people from the Waloita ethnic group in the southern part of the country are staging demonstrations demanding their own regional state. This comes week after the Sidama, another ethnic group in the area, voted in a referendum to form their own regional state with a population more than 3 million. They were Walaita are Ethiopia's 6th largest ethnic group. When the Sidama went for the polls in November in the country's first referendum in decades, some said other groups might be encouraged to make similar demands. And we go to Sudan, where Amnesty International on Thursday urged Sudan's new transitional government to deliver on popular demands for sweeping change as the country marked the first anniversary of mass protests that led to the ouster of former serving and long-time autocrat Omar al-Bashir. A year ago, the first rally was held in Sudan to protest the soaring cost of bread, marking the beginning of the pro-democracy movement that convulsed the large African country. That led in April to the toppling of the country's military, Omar al-Bashir, and ultimately to the creation of a joint military-civilian sovereign council that has committed to rebuilding the country and promises elections in 3 years. And in Algeria, former Prime Minister Abdelmadjid Tebboune was sworn in as the new president of protest hit Algeria on Thursday, a week after winning a widely boycotted election. He succeeds a veteran president, Abdelaziz Bouteflika, who was forced out of office in April in the face of mass demonstrations. And we go to South Sudan, where the U.S. ambassador in Juba has criticized the involvement of South Sudan's government officials in the Sudan peace talks being hosted by Juba, saying it is distracting them from implementing their own peace agreement. South Sudan is mediating the peace between the government in Sudan and its armed forces, yet it is struggling to implement its own peace deal signed over a year ago. Last year, President Salva Kiir offered to mediate between the government in Sudan and its rebels after the former Sudan President Omar al-Bashir mediated talks between government and opposition groups, which led to the signing of the revitalized peace agreement last September. And in Zimbabwe, the country, which is banking in investment on its natural resources to arrest an economic freefall, faces having the assets of the state mining company seized after a final appeal of a 2014 arbitration ruling failed. Companies linked to British Virgin Islands-based Amri Holdings Limited won the right to seize assets worth $65.9 million US dollars in compensation for Zimbabwe's mining development corporations. A cancellation of nickel and platinum ventures formed in 2007 and 2008. The ruling by the International Court of Arbitration was made after a hearing in Lusaka, that is in Zambia. And in Cameroon, a bill granting special status to Cameroon's two Anglophone regions was passed by lawmakers on Wednesday, a national radio station has reported. Now, if the Senate approves the devolution law and it comes into force, the western areas where Amazonians are fighting government troops will be able to develop their own education and justice policies. And we end with Biafra, where a leading pro-Biafra group movement for the actualization of sovereign states of Biafra, MASSOB, has called on the governors and leaders of the Igbo-dominated southeast region of the country to give befitting burial to parents of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. Uchiena Madu, the leader of MASSOB, put forth the call on Wednesday when he led a delegation on a condolence visit to Kanu's family in Afarauku Kingdom in Omwa here. So thank you so much. That is the news from across Africa this morning. And I think, well, it's sad there. The parents of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu have not been buried. I think they're working on modalities and, he cannot fly back to Nigeria. So as we said here, that must be very difficult for him. But also here in South Sudan, I think something that I've also been wondering about, how the government of South Sudan has been very effective and in how it has been mediating for the peace in Sudan, but has been failing in its own efforts to, finding its own peace at home. So now the U.S. ambassador in Juba has criticized the involvement of South Sudan's leadership, that is the president, who is mediating between the talks between Sudan's government and the rebels over there, and yet he's not able to implement their own peace agreement. I think I've been complaining about this, or just airing my concerns about this, because President Salva Kiir has been very successful in the mediation process he's been having for Sudan, but we have not seen that happening back at home. As now the U.S. ambassador in Juba is criticizing that, and he's saying that this involvement of President Salva Kiir to mediate between the government in Sudan and its rebels are really taking away his time and his concentration to his own problems at home, and perhaps he needs to just buckle down on this so that he's able to implement, because this process is distracting him from finding, from concentrating in his own problems back home. So that is the latest from Africa this morning. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of our show. We'll see you on Sunday for another edition of Africa Showdown. My name is Miriam Ogutu. Bye-bye for now.